You're listening to Eureka on Monocle Radio, brought to you by the team behind The Entrepreneurs, the show all about inspiring people, innovative companies, and fresh ideas in global business. I'm Tom Edwards. Magnus Renfrew is the co-founder of Art SG, Southeast Asia's leading international art fair and Singapore's largest art event. Now in its third year, Art SG is consolidating its place as a major stop on the global art circuit. With a background that includes founding and directing some of Asia's most prestigious art fairs, such as Art Basel Hong Kong and Taipei Dangdai, Magnus brings years of expertise to positioning Singapore as the region's cultural and artistic hub. So, how did he build Singapore's standing as the stage for Southeast Asia's art scene? And how do you make a fair stand out for the trade and collectors alike? Well, here is Magnus with more on how the journey began.
Art SG is the leading art fair in Southeast Asia and is rapidly asserting itself as a key fixture on the international art calendar. Well, we started looking many years ago at Singapore and Southeast Asia as having a real possibility for a major international hub fair. Southeast Asia has a population approaching the size of Europe and is home to many of the fastest growing economies in the world with very positive demographics. And Singapore is the natural hub for Southeast Asia. That, combined with the fact that there is just such an incredible diversity and quality of cultural production across the region, means that it's a very fertile context to have a meeting place and a gathering place for the international art world. The art world has changed out of all recognition over the last 16 years or so since we started Art Hong Kong back in 2008, which was then, of course, rebranded as Art Basel in 2013. So I think that many of the different constituencies around the region now really deserve to have a fair in their own right. And of course, Southeast Asia is such a huge area with many affluent people there, entrepreneurs and so on, who have been making significant amounts of money, who have become increasingly interested in buying contemporary art. And we saw that whereas North Asia was very well served by fairs like Taipei Dangdai and so on, that Southeast Asia, really there was a gap there which really needed to be filled. And in consultation with galleries and different stakeholders, they felt that there was a real role for a fair for Southeast Asia based in Singapore. There's a lot of interest and dynamism in the city, and that, given also with its incredible infrastructure and transport links and hotels and restaurants and hospitality, it makes it a very good place to have a major international art fair. Singapore is really going through a moment, I have to say, and I think that people haven't really fully recognised the important role that Singapore is going to increasingly play over the next 15 or 20 years in every aspect of our lives. I think Singapore is really going to become much more relevant than it is already. And I think that the art market and the cultural sphere is going to be a beneficiary of that broader Singapore rising story. We want to help to bring people to Singapore to discover the wonderful offerings that there are in Singapore in terms of the cultural scene and the cultural landscape, and also the other things to enjoy in the city. But also for that to be an opportunity for people to discover, perhaps for the first time, different parts of Southeast Asia through the works that are on view at the fair. And nothing would make us happier than for Singapore to be the first stop off on a greater exploration for collectors to then go on and discover the great art scenes in different parts of Southeast Asia. This is the third edition. We've got a fantastic lineup of galleries, 105 galleries participating, and a really diverse array of galleries from Singapore, from Southeast Asia, from right across Asia and then right around the world. We're thrilled to have a great presentation. We have a number of different sectors. We have the galleries sector, which is dedicated to leading galleries from around the world who are selected on the basis of the overall programming of the gallery and the caliber of the artist roster. Then we have the focus sector, which is dedicated to solo or two artist or thematic presentations, which allows people to see the work of an artist either in the context of other works by the same artist or in the context of their peers. And I think the context is an incredibly important element in terms of really trying to gain an understanding of where an artist is coming from or how to situate them. We have the Futures sector, which is dedicated to emerging artists, represented by younger galleries. And so that's a place where one can really discover the next major artist at an earlier stage of their career. And we also have a digital spotlight sector. We have a few galleries that are showcasing works by digital artists that we've wanted to highlight for people, given Singapore's status as a major tech and blockchain hub. We're very excited about the prospects for the fair overall. What's been great is that we really seem to be bedding into the region very well, and that we've been forming partnerships with different institutions who've been involved in some of the curatorial elements of the fair. So we have a film programme that's being curated by the Bangkok Kunsthalle, which is a new private space that's being started and is having an exceptional programme. So that's wonderful to be working with partners such as that. And we want to continue to build our support base to really encourage people to use the fair as a platform for promoting their own activities. And so in addition to it being a place that's about commercial exchange, we also want it to be a place that's about meeting people, fostering new ideas, new projects, and cooking up new initiatives. And so it's wonderful when things start to take on a little bit of a life of their own. And we're beginning to see a bit of that this year with some of the associated programming around the fair, with foundations organising curatorial conferences and so on. We're just beginning to see the beginnings of that. It's still early days, but I think that the solid performance that we've had to date and the way that we're integrating within the city and within the region is very exciting. And so I feel very positive that step by step that we can really develop this into being something of global importance. But, you know, we want to do things one step at a time and to do things in the right way, in a sustainable way.
That was Magnus Renfrew, the co-founder of ArtSG, and you can learn more about the fair by heading to artsg.com. And that's all for this episode of Eureka. We'll be back at the same time next week. Do look out for The Entrepreneurs, available every Wednesday. The programme was produced by Laura Kramer with audio editing by Jack Dewars. You can listen again and find out more at monocle.com or follow us wherever you get your podcasts. To contact the team, drop a note to Laura on lrk@monocle.com. I'm Tom Edwards. Goodbye and thanks for listening to Eureka.